If you booked the honeymoon suite of the Redland House Hotel in Chester between 1995 and 2010, you slept in the wedding bed of Henry VII and Elizabeth of York. There's also a chance that you've slept in the bed before, but the history is unclear. At the end of the video, we look at what is assumed to be the path the bed has taken through the centuries. Welcome back to Lemmy History. We have a wedding-themed week coming up, and I will start with a story I once made a short for. Then I realized I'm terrible at making shorts and I don't like them, so I deleted them all. But I always wanted to come back to this. And now the times has finally come. The hotel bought the bed in question in the early 1990s from an antique dealer based in Edinburgh. We do not know its history between 1486 and the date of purchase, but we can make some assumptions. The hotel bought the bed believing that it was a piece of furniture from the Victorian era. A remarkable coincidence probably played a role in this. A furniture maker, antiquarian, and architect named George Shaw may have come into possession of the bed in the 1840s and began creating and selling copies of fake Tudor beds. This bed was therefore suspected of being one of the pieces of furniture in question which were created in the Victorian period. When Redland House underwent extensive renovations in 2010 and wanted to sell it, it described the piece of furniture in the following words: profusely carved Victorian four-poster bed with armorial shields. The bed was disassembled before the auction and stored in the hotel car park until it could be picked up for the actual auction. An antiques dealer unknown to us bought it at auction and sold it on to restorer Ian Coulson shortly afterwards. He paid £2,200 for the bed. The actual value of the piece of furniture is estimated at £20 million. Coulson said he suspected early on that the bed could not have been from the Victorian era. The age of the wood, the techniques used to process the material, the degree of oxidation, and the damage caused by a woodworm infection suggest that it must have come from the Middle Ages, the expert recalls. He therefore examined the bed more closely, opened the joints, and found his suspicion confirmed. Several parts of the bed have been extensively scientifically studied. The results confirmed that it is a centuries-old oak from mainland Europe. This type of wood was known for being the material that the English royal family imported for their furniture. However, it turned out that the bed was actually infested with pests twice. The hunger of the cockchafer beetles makes it impossible to determine the exact age of the wood. However, it dates back to the 15th century. Originally, the bed was painted. Ultramarine blue was used, which used to be more expensive as a paint than gold leaf. In this way, it was finally certain that it had to be a bed of wealthy people. Art historical investigations finally brought the certainty that it was the wedding bed of Henry and Elizabeth of York. On the headboard is a depiction of the couple as Adam and Eve. The arms of France are part of the bed together with the lions of England. They agree with those that Henry used for himself as king. Also present are fertility symbols such as acorns, grapes, and strawberries, and symbols of the Tudor royalty such as stars, shields, lions, and roses. They are very similar to the symbols found in the Henry VII Chapel in Westminster Abbey, built between 1503 and 1516. The rose carvings on the bed include the red Lancaster and the white York rose, but not the Tudor rose. This shows that the bed must have been from the early period of Henry's reign. The combination of these features proves that it is the wedding bed of the first Tudor royal couple. It was probably commissioned shortly after the Battle of Bosworth and placed in the Palace of Westminster. Here the couple waited for their wedding night. It is possible that all of the couple's children were felt in the bed, but at least Prince Arthur. What happened next is the subject of discussion. Perhaps Henry gave the bed to his stepfather Thomas Stanley in 1495, but it may also have been another bed that he commissioned for this purpose. If it actually went to Stanley, it stood in Latham House until the Civil War. For a long time it was assumed that it was destroyed during this time, like so many other things. Presumably, it was more likely to be given to Shaw's own possession by a person known to us, until it apparently reappeared in Shaw's possession in the 19th century. Then it somehow migrated to Edinburgh, and finally found its home in Chester. The bed, which is also called the Paradise Bed because of the depiction of Adam and Eve, is still in Coulson's possession. The latter regularly makes it available for exhibitions. So it was the main attraction of Bed of Roses in Hever Castle. Here it met the only other bed from Tudor days that has survived, the sleeping place of Henry VIII and Anne of Cleves. Bed of Roses was an allusion to the fact that the children conceived in the bed marked the symbolic end of the Wars of the Roses. Historian Jonathan Foyle, who played a central role in the study of the bed, describes it as the most important piece of furniture in England. It is one of the most significant artifacts of early Tudor history. I think the last 15 years have impressively shown that we should comprehensively examine all car parks in England to learn more about the history of the 15th century. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to support my channel.